everyone, I am Chris.
And I'm Christine, and we do a podcast about life, love, and hot topics. We're family friendly.
Yeah, well, mostly.
And you can catch us every week.
So subscribe to the Chris and Christine Show on your favorite streaming service.
And buckle up, Buttercup, because you're in for some fun.
Some fun? Oh yeah, that sounds fantastic.
Please listen carefully.
Hello, universe. Welcome to the Optimist Daily Update. I'm Summers McKay.
And I'm Kristy Jansen, and we're part of the team behind the Optimist Daily, making solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change the tenor of news media, social media, and the direction of your day to one focused on solutions.
7 days a week, we publish positive news stories written by award-winning journalists and delivered online to your inbox and through our social channels. And also, we are sharing these solutions in a commute-worthy, walk-worthy, home office-worthy, you can do it for 10 minutes while you exercise-worthy podcast. Today is Monday, the 7th of December, 2020. Good morning, Kristy. Happy Monday. How are you?
Happy Monday, Summers. I'm fine. I was just musing about the fact that, we're now in lockdown again.
Yeah, in California, they have reissued relatively aggressive stay-at-home lockdown orders.
But, compared to March, when our first lockdown experience happened, it doesn't change very much in terms of how I've been living for the last 9 months. And, I'm stocked up on most of the staples. I did run out and get a couple of things over the weekend just to make sure I had extra. But for the most part...
Did you get more toilet paper?
No, because I have a full case that I hadn't even cracked into in the garage. I don't have room to store more toilet paper. Plus, to me, I think we've worked out the supply chain on that one at this point. So it's just an interesting comparison.
Yeah.
From the last time. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's just a normal Tuesday. As this is just another Tuesday, another Monday. It's not that different.
Yeah, it was such a drastic experience back in March, right? And we were also all very scared and there was so much uncertainty. And so not only did we have the stay-at-home orders, but you also just didn't even know if you could walk around your block safely. And now, fortunately, there is more information, there is more awareness and understanding of the virus and how we protect ourselves. So we're not quite as paralyzed. I also think, like you, my family, we've been living in more or less a shutdown lifestyle. We've gone out to eat a couple times at restaurants, but that's not the lion's share of our efforts, right? That's just not how we spend our time or our money. But I had kind of an interesting experience, and this is kind of with the small business perspective on this whole lockdown thing. So I made a commitment to try to not buy any Christmas gifts from big retailers, right? Any holiday gifts for friends or family. Certainly, like my husband's underwear, because he's getting socks and underwear I bought from Amazon. But everything else, I've been trying really hard to buy something special and not Amazoned. And something happened that every time I went to go place an order, delivery wouldn't arrive until, January. I mean, really just these extraordinary delivery dates. And so I sat with all these things in shopping carts, personalized and lovely things from small retailers. And I just didn't know what to do because I thought, oh my gosh, if it doesn't arrive by Christmas, does it count? Is it good? And my best friend, who is my daughter's godmother, emailed me and said, I've ordered a gift for Brennan, but it's not coming for 7 or 8 weeks. But just so you know, that's her Christmas gift. And it gave me such permission because she had the same thinking I did, but she also just stepped aside from this accelerated rush, this emotion that we feel about Christmas, which is kind of no longer in place in this new stay-at-home lockdown. There is a spaciousness. There's more time. So I just kind of wanted to add that into the conversation that, a lot of people's well-beings and professions, and we have colleagues who also work in restaurants who have been furloughed, and just everyone just give yourself space and time and generosity. And if Christmas gifts don't get there on time, don't worry about it. And this new lockdown experience will be over eventually, and it's all okay. we just don't have to feel the pressure that we did back in March when we were scrambling desperately to figure out how to do this all.
Yeah, it's just par for the course in the year 2020, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be, why should this Christmas be any more normal than Thanksgiving or the 4th of July or any other major holiday?
I think the last normal holiday we had, it was Valentine's Day. So I was packing up our Thanksgiving decorations and actually packing them in a box suitable for moving because we know we'll probably move before next Thanksgiving. And I just thought, gosh, I wonder what Thanksgiving's going to be like next year.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to it because I'm hoping that it'll be back to where we will hug our friends and family and share, and I can have an actual turkey.
Not turkey apocalypse. Oh, Lord. Well, Kristy, I think there's a lot of things to be grateful for. And, I keep going back to sort of what are our ways of staying optimistic during this different holiday season. And, we have our sort of 5 practices of do something every day. Gratitude guides your attitude, share something good, stop doom scrolling, and find your purpose. And so I think that for the month of December, I'm really going to get in there into each of these stories and figure out what, with each day, can a story speak to one of those 5 goals. So my story today is about how you can just do a little bit every day.
Yeah. I think in addition to the 5 like mental habits and those kinds of practices, what other habits that are daily that can just do a little bit that will help you?
Yeah.
And what's the headline you're going to be focused on today?
As I mentioned, I scurried around like a crazy person packing up all the rest of Thanksgiving and finishing decorating Christmas this morning. And I sat down for our check-in with Kristy and I am just like pouring sweat. She's like in a collared shirt and looks adorably coiffed and professional. And I was kind of beating up on myself. And then I looked at the headline and I realized, why no, there's no beating up on myself. In fact, I did my healthy habit. So the headline reads, just 11 minutes of daily exercise can help offset the effects of sitting. Now, we all know that sitting for 8.5 hours a day is pretty bad for your health. We know that even just the sedentary lifestyles and certainly our stay-at-home lifestyles have reduced the amount of activity. They've reduced our walking meetings and all of the, other things that we've done. But 11 minutes a day of high intensity exercise, and that can include furiously running up and down stairs in and out of your attic, tripping over old ski boots to get Christmas put away or to get Christmas put out, counts as exercise. And it doesn't actually have to be high intensity. It can be moderate exercise, and that will significantly reduce the risk of premature death associated with other sedentary lifestyles. So there have been lots of studies about how doing short bursts of exercise are really valuable. Certainly we have all these watches and phones that tell us to get up and move. And sometimes I feel like my watch is insulting me because I have work to do. But I loved this reminder that find your exercise wherever you can. Just burst into exercise, get into household activities, listen to the Optimist Daily update while you do it. And actually, if we set people on a path that if you listen to the Optimist Daily update every day and exercise while you're listening, you will get your exercise in for the day. So we're like the new Peloton, but different.
Very different. I don't know. You have to talk a lot faster to get heart rate really up,
And focusing on health and wellness and self-care is so critical. So I really like this story, and it was just a good reminder, and it made me feel good about showing up to our meeting super sweaty.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I like about this story is that it highlights how just a little bit of positive action in this arena in terms of moving your body can have extraordinary benefits. I mean, I know that when I am doing my 10 to 15 minute yoga practice, if I do it every morning, my body feels okay. If I don't do it for a couple days in a row, I start to feel not so good. And just having that 10 minutes, and it's not overwhelming. Yeah. It's not like I have to do an hour and a half of yoga to be a yogi. I just need to stretch for 10 minutes, and it makes all the difference in the world. I think just moving, even if it's just, walking around the block, it connects you to your physical being in a positive way. And so that's why I really like the story. So thank you for for grabbing it, Summers.
Just a good morning reminder. Now let's get into, I don't know, a slightly stronger conversation here.
Yeah. So the story that I wanted to highlight, and I'm doing it not because I loved the headline, but because I had ambivalent reactions to it. The headline reads, San Francisco votes to ban cigarette smoking in apartments. And when I first read that headline, so full disclosure, I was letting the writers run this weekend. I didn't actually look at today's headlines. We didn't talk about what was coming in Monday's feed before I saw it this morning. So I don't know if I was like, oh, why is this really a solution? I had a reaction to it.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring it up because it sort of goes to what other narratives in this country are talking about, where it's personal liberty versus public health and safety, right? And that's super important to acknowledge that can be a trade-off. And the reason this is a solution is that smoking and secondhand smoke is really bad for the individual, but it also has downstream effects with other family members, even if they're not smoking. If you're living in a smoke-filled environment, it can lead to asthma, health problems, lung cancer. True.
Right.
But by banning it, even inside of like private homes, I don't know. Yes, it may be a big step forward for community health because those people who get sick from the deleterious health effects of smoking will weigh on society. But on the other hand, is it right to police them? And how are you going to police people in their own homes? And anyway, I'm bringing it up here.
We had a great conversation this morning, and certainly we have our opinions. We don't have the answer on this. I also had a concerned response to this because while I believe that cigarette smoke is just noxious and I hated when I lived in an apartment and people around me smoked, I also have been in my 20s and in my 30s and actually lived in San Francisco in my 20s. I actually haven't smoked in my 30s, but in college in my 20s, and I, smoked. It was the social interaction. It's actually the way that I, as a scared little freshman in college, my roommate and I sat in our rooms and there were all these people outside on the balcony. And I said, I know how to smoke. My roommate looked at me and said, you do? And it was our conduit to just going to make friends. So while that has certainly passed, and that was many, many years ago, I am concerned by the idea of policing people in their own homes for this action, especially because it is not unilateral. It specifically targets people in multi-home dwellings. Once again, as you mentioned, this is not, it's not fair. Right?
Well,
it's affecting people who don't have home ownership, who are renters or have less. And equal treatment under the law is true social justice, not punitive treatment based on access. We've talked about this, and we try very hard not to get political ever on the Optimist Daily, but I think even you and I who are adamantly against smoking, and I'm super against it, I don't want anyone around me or my children smoking because it just makes me sick and I know it's terrible for people. I'm not for restricting people's private home usage.
Yeah. On the other hand, okay, so public, not smoking in public, I have less issue there.
Yeah.
Similarly, wearing masks, I know that has also for some reason become a political or a personal liberty question. And so I don't know. I think policing people's private lives is questionable. On the other hand, balancing public health. So I don't have an answer. I just wanted to bring it up. Read the story. We'll be talking about it in our writers meeting a little bit later on today. And I'm curious to see what the thinking is there.
And I think it'd be really interesting if you guys want to participate in this conversation. Send us a note at editorial@Optimist Daily and tell us what your thoughts are on how we weigh public health and public good along with individual liberty. And certainly this is what is at stake in so many conversations right now, but in particular with regards to cigarette smoking and tobacco smoking. What do you guys think? And we may be opening ourselves up to just like a watershed of chaos with asking that question. I think it's important that we work together on solutions and we don't just we don't cast opinions as solutions.
Absolutely. And the other thing that I find curious or funny about this is that cannabis is not included specifically for tobacco smoking.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
So I think that's
okay.
all our time.
Less controversial headlines on the Optimist Daily are. What else do we have today, Kristy?
All right. Well, the EU's biggest oil producer is voting to end all new oil and gas exploration. I think this is also very interesting. The EU is really moving ahead with investing in a fossil-free future and more than other areas in the globe.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to track. There's a new bamboo bridge seeking to help reptiles cross over busy roads. Again, this is fun, and we've been lots of wildlife passages, and I think that's a great story. Scotland is making period products free for all. We've written about this in the past, but I think it's finally possible for people to access those products for free, and I think it's a wonderful thing for gender equality and getting beyond the period tax and the menstrual tax that often people are forced to pay. There's a free streaming platform that is being called the Netflix of climate documentaries. There are module and breathable microenvironments to make growing crops easier. Rockefeller Christmas Tree is getting a charitable new life after the holidays. And for those of you who don't want to wait for your packages to arrive, there's a holiday guide for mailing homemade treats this holiday season. So this is a personal way of showing your love. You can send a package of cookies or peppermint bars.
Peppermint bars. Be there in person without being there in person.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for today's Optimist Daily. Thank you so much for listening to the Optimist Daily Update. We promise to continue to share these positive solution-based stories with ideas on how you can participate in this changing world and ensure it is change for the good. We promise to cover current events with accuracy, legitimate sources, and offer you the information you need most to chart new paths for all of us.
Please consider becoming an emissary on theoptimistdaily.com, and for just $5 a month, support reader-funded, independent journalism. Be part of the solution, changing consciousness and addressing our world's biggest challenges with a problem-solving mindset. Let's keep the Optimist Daily free to all who need it, supported by those who can.